Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain and bring you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today I want to take a deeper dive into why this new chapter has opened the door for some major growth at the hands of Sarada Uchiha and how this sets the stage for her learning one of the biggest lessons when it comes to her dealings with Kawaki as she walks down the path of becoming Hokage, including learning one major lesson that comes from the story of Naruto Uzumaki that she is currently learning, which is no, it's not to have the guts to never give up, but instead something way deeper than that she needs to learn and is being forced to learn now that if she wants to be a true successor to Naruto's Will of Fire and eventually be the next Hokage. Also, as a quick reminder, the chapter review is up on the channel right now, so if you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. And if you're into One Piece, don't forget to check out the new video on my Everything One Piece Explained channel. And also, if you're a Fire Force fan, over on my Anime Explained channel, we have a video for every member of Company 8, breaking all of them down that is safe for anime-only viewers of Fire Force to watch. Now, getting back to it though, this is hands down one of the most important long-form arcs in Boruto's entire story, in particular Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, that it hasn't truly reached its climax yet for obvious reasons, but all signs they point towards it being essential for Sarada, her complete transformation to become the next Hokage. So we have to dig into this deeply, and we have to look at Sarada versus Kawaki, a tale of two ideals. So at its heart, when you really sit down and think about it, Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is no longer just a story that's building towards a climax of Boruto versus Kawaki. There's a third contender in here. It's about Sarada's evolution versus Kawaki's descent, because Sarada is being forged as ideological counterweight to Kawaki's obsession. Their battle isn't necessarily a physical battle, but it is one that is thematically being written. Kawaki wants a perfect world that is forged by control. He wants to eradicate all the Otsutsuki, including himself and Boruto. But that goalpost is always shifting. He is losing himself in madness, as shown by him telling Amato, "Pump me full of whatever DNA you need to, I'm gonna get stronger." Sarada, on the other hand, she believes in a healed world that is being built by compassion. It is being built by the truth. The themes that you have to start looking at are the core desire for Sarada is to become Hokage and protect everyone equally. For Kawaki, it is to protect only Naruto. The theme for how they see Naruto, Sarada sees Naruto as a hero, as a moral compass, whereas Kawaki sees him as a father figure, an obsession, dare I say it, like a god, very similar to how Code views Ishiki like a god. That, in my opinion, is a large part of the reason why Code and Kawaki's dynamic is so powerful. When you look at their relationship to the truth, Sarada fights to restore it. Kawaki manipulates the truth in order to maintain control. Look no further than how he was able to say, "Oh my god, you mean me and Boruto, our memories are swapped in everybody's head? Yo, Ada, hey, come here, girl. Tell everybody that Naruto was killed by Boruto and that you saw it." When you look at the approach to power itself, when you take a look at that, Sarada views it as being shared, earned through love, earned through trust, earned through hard work, earned through the typical shinobi path. However, for Kawaki, it is hoarded. It is to be earned through force and through deception. When you look at forgiveness, Sarada's character arc is going to lead her to eventually forgiving Kawaki. However, Kawaki right now, he can't forgive Boruto or the world, in the sense that, hey, if you are a threat to Naruto, you all gotta go. The path moving forward for Sarada, she is an embodiment of unification. For Kawaki, the path moving forward for him until he is redeemed is about erasure and rewriting. This is why, when you take a look at what makes Kawaki's lie so important for Sarada's growth, this is why it gets so huge. So the omnipotence lie that swapped everyone's memories, and then Kawaki takes advantage of it and says that Boruto killed Naruto, and that Kawaki is strutting around Konoha acting like he's Naruto's biological son. It is Kawaki's ultimate betrayal of the truth, identity, and honestly, just community in of itself. He was taken into Konoha and treated like a citizen by Naruto, like a adopted son by Naruto. Sure, there were moments where people in the village looked at Kawaki, they weren't too sure, but people like Shikadai were there to help him. He had friends, he had a village not a literal village, but a figurative village that was there to support him if need be. And for 3 years, Sarada, she knew the truth. And because of how deeply she loves Naruto, because of how deeply she loves Boruto, because of how deeply those bonds run, it's one of those things where she faced a lot of hate. And that hatred, as we are told, hate makes the powers of the Uchiha grow stronger. This is critical because Sarada is having to confront a similar experience that Naruto had with Nagato when Nagato destroyed the Hidden Leaf Village. When Pain destroyed the village, when Pain killed Jiraiya, Naruto was consumed by utter rage when he met him. You can add Kakashi to that list as well. But Jiraiya's teachings, they eventually pull Naruto back. And Naruto, he chose forgiveness over hatred. That moment made him the true heir to Jiraiya's will when you think about it. Very similarly, look at it from what you have here for Sarada. For 3 years, Sarada did not know the truth. She believed that Kawaki murdered her Hokage, the man who inspired her dream, the man who she said she wished was her father. This is as much of a blood feud as you could ever get in any definition of the word. That spurred a lot of power growth for Sarada. Her belief in him as a comrade, it turned into anger right there on the spot. But unlike Sasuke, who chose vengeance after undergoing trauma, Sarada holds onto her will in order to protect the village. We didn't hear anything about Sarada walking up to Kawaki, slapping the taiyaki out of his mouth and saying, if you're really Naruto's kid, why aren't you eating a Thunder Burger? She didn't choose violence. Instead, she tried to unify the village, pass out photos of Naruto baby Boruto, make the case repeatedly to Shikamaru the Hokage, make the case repeatedly to people in the village, trying to unify the village. And yet, because of Kawaki, there was erasure due to omnipotence. Every time she would say something, omnipotence would just rewrite everything and make them stop questioning what was happening. Sarada could have just as easily turned to vengeance like her father, but she didn't. This is where, when you really think about it, her Hokage journey, it is deepening. A lesser person, they would have hated Kawaki forever. God knows, if I was in her shoes, oh, I would not be a nice person. I am petty. I hold on to grudges. As I said before, if you kick sand on my shoes in the sandbox, I remember that stuff and I will purposely pull over when your car's broke down on 115 weather day and the heat index is like 140 something. I'll let you feel the AC blowing from the window, let you stick your head in the window, and then I'm driving off laughing. I ain't calling AAA or nothing for you. I am petty. Sarada is not. Be like Sarada. Don't be like me. A power-hungry person would have just used that grief to justify violence. If she was a typical Uchiha, she would have been lost in that violence right there because of how deeply she loved Naruto. But a true Hokage, which she isn't at right now, but she's acting like one, a true Hokage understands that peace comes through forgiveness without erasure. That before you turn to violence, you have to try other options. Sarada's learning the same lesson that Naruto did, that the peace, it is a cycle of breaking cycles itself. That is why she is having to detach herself from her Uchiha genetics when you really sit down and think about how she's been written. Even when you're the one who's being betrayed, true peace comes from breaking cycles. This is why Sarada had to witness Kawaki's corruption. Sarada's growth, it isn't just about getting stronger, and unfortunately, because of how shown in our structure and everything, that is what a lot of people focus on. When in reality, especially with the Naruto franchise, even Boruto Naruto Next Generations and Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, there's a lot more character work that is put into it, but because we like Rasengan go boom, Fireball Jutsu go boom, Chidori go spark spark, that's what people focus on. However, true understanding of the series is understanding that there are times where characters internalize the true cost of leadership, especially those who are burdened with becoming Hokage in the future or are burdened with being Hokage currently. And right now, nothing is testing that like what Sarada is going through. She is watching Kawaki manipulate reality, continue to take advantage of reality. She is one of the few people who know the truth. She is one of the two non-Otsutsuki and non-blood relatives of Ada who actually remember the truth. And she is realizing that for the world to heal, someone must choose to not give in. That's why when her character design came out in 2023, the first thing I said is like, yo, this is all rebellion. Her entire outfit is an homage to Sasuke and Boruto. And what do you know? Ikimoto confirmed it last year. Looks like I wasn't talking out of my ass. Sarada has had to carry Boruto's exile on her shoulders, despite being told that doing such a thing like that is directly ruining her chances of becoming Hokage one day. She has had to watch the world call her friend, potentially someone who she cares for, and based on the lettering that has been used in the Japanese version of the manga, there was a strong romantic undertone there, directly associating with love for Boruto. She had to watch the world call that guy a murderer. She had to watch Kawaki gain public love and affection that he didn't earn, all while he was purposely living a life. And Sarada had to bottle all that rage that she felt because she couldn't walk up to the kid who everyone believes saved the village 2 times and is now an orphan. She couldn't do that. She's realizing, maybe on a subconscious level, or maybe this is something she has to realize later, but if she's going to become Hokage, she has to come to the realization that she's going to end up having to save or play a role in helping save the very person who stole everything from her, because that is what a Hokage does. That's a deeper test than any battle. Again, I know we like Rasengan to go bam, Chidori to go spark spark. We like our big explosions and fancy fight tactics. That's not what this is about. This is the same spiritual journey that Naruto Uzumaki had to walk. It's just being done in a different way. Just as Naruto had to choose mercy at times, after he had every reason to not do so, Sarada's eventually going to have to make the same choice with Kawaki, even if she's obviously not the one that does it because that is Boruto's role. It's not because Kawaki deserves it, but more so because the world itself will deserve it. Because when you look at the totality of Kawaki's circumstances and everything that led him down to this point of where he is now, if you choose to kill someone like that off, it is a darker reflection of the shinobi world. It makes you wonder, are we truly in an era where things have changed? Because killing Kawaki would be akin to what the shinobi world used to be before Naruto became that golden beacon of light that was shining through the darkness of the 4th Ninja War. Sarada's journey is to be the first Uchiha Hokage, and that title only matters if she overcomes the curse of hatred that the clan itself was once embodied with. Uchiha feel love very strongly, and losing love, in this case losing Naruto, losing Boruto, that should have driven her into hate. Instead, she's risen above it. Look at these characters and look at their response to loss in general. Madara Uchiha chose vengeance after betrayal. He chose to try to overcome and forcefully change the world. He doomed the world into a cycle of war. Sasuke Uchiha chose to break the shinobi system by force. His version of Hokage was basically a dictator. He needed Naruto's compassion in order to return. Itachi chose sacrifice, self-sacrifice, and silence, and he died a ghost to history. Yes, we know due to the epilogue stories that Naruto's tried to shed some light on Itachi without telling people about the Uchiha massacre, but Itachi is a ghost to history. Sarada, on the other hand, she has chosen to hold faith in the truth itself. She is on track to be a Hokage through healing, which is very fitting. Again, her mother is the greatest medical ninja of all time. No, that's gonna piss off Tsunade fans, but it is what it is. Tsunade herself has acknowledged Sakura surpassed her more than once. Sarada must face betrayal. She must experience the pain of misbelief, which is what she's been struggling with the last 3 years. She must learn that to see through the fog of lies without becoming a tyrant or without becoming a martyr. That's why her having the Sharingan, the eyes that see through deception, that's why that is so important. Her choice to forgive Kawaki when the truth is eventually restored, which it will, knowing that he caused Boruto's exile, he assumed the identity of Naruto's child, and he nearly ruined the world as a result. This will be the moment where she proves her true worth as Hokage. The narrative payoff is that she's basically completing the Uchiha's arc, and it's being done by Sarada. the first child born of Sasuke after that cycle of hatred between reincarnates was broken. It is very poetic. The Uchiha clan, once feared for their ability to love so deeply that they descended into hate, finally gives this shinobi world a leader who is an Uchiha who deeply loves and stays whole while doing so, even after having lost love. Sarada becomes what Madara, Itachi, and Sasuke never could. An Uchiha who rises above all those emotions. She brings about peace not through power, but through forgiveness. Throughout this entire time, she has managed to remain untainted in that regard. All the others have flirted in some way, shape, form, or fashion of being a tyrant, or in the case of Itachi, he steeped himself in the blood of the innocent, because not every Uchiha was somebody who supported the Uchiha coup d'etat. That's why Kawaki's corruption, it matters to Sarada's arc. The only person she's ever killed was Ryu, because only by seeing not what she can become, but rather what she will become, that is what's going to allow Sarada to not only become Hokage, but she will also fully end the Uchiha's curse once and for all. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and checking out more videos from Naruto Explained, like this chapter review by clicking here on the left, or click here on the right to check out that new Fire Force video that I spoke about earlier, or click here up top to check out this video from my Everything One Piece Explained channel.